Hello, hello. Welcome back to Divine Destiny Guide. Sending you the purest of love and light. Always, we're blessed. We're highly favored. We're anchored. We're secure. We're protected. If this is your first time, I welcome you. Returning soul tribers, new soul tribers, thank you for your continuous love and your support and your comments as well. So this is like a career and money read, okay? So you're called, some of you maybe already do this, to generosity. Engage in acts of kindness and generosity towards each other. So giving back, serving the community, the less fortunate. Maybe some of you do that. There are so many different areas where we can give, and it's not just money. I mean, if you have children, they have, like well, kind of like, not say newly used toys and clothing. Even for us, you can donate to different organizations who will sell those things, or maybe even give it to persons who don't have, and some of them will even give you a form, so at the end of the year you can claim it for your taxes as well. So there are a lot of different areas and things that you can do to give back and to serve the community. Okay, different things, different ways. Again, it's like, to whom much is given, much is required. And it's like, even if a person is rich, but if they're not kind, it's like it defeats the purpose. So when God blesses us and he helps us, we're blessed to be a blessing. Again, everything in moderation here, because it's not giving to people who are greedy. We learned our lessons, or for a lot of you, you're learning that you need to have boundaries and all of that when it comes to giving to people who are just greedy and selfish. It's not that. I'm not saying that way. You will know. You use discernment, your judgment. You will know. Spirit will show you and tell you, or lead you, guide you where you should go, and or who you should give to as well. Your purpose is having a sense of purpose and meaning in life. So purpose is like why you get up in the morning. I mean, when you're in your purpose, it brings you joy, fulfillment, happiness. It's not the when you have to go back to work Monday. It's kind of like by Sunday afternoon you start having palpitations. Not that. It's not that feeling. It doesn't bring about anxiety. And you may be asking, or you don't know what is your purpose. Again, you can pray, ask God earnestly, honestly, and he will tell you. For a lot of you, your purpose is the thing or things that really irritates you. You may have gone through certain things in your life and you don't like to see that, or you wouldn't want to see that happen to another person. And so you can be an activist. You can be somebody who speak up or work with people who suffer or were exposed to those same things as well. So your purpose, for a lot of you, like my grandmother, she always said, every baby, when they're born, they're coming this world, their fist is closed because there's a gift. Even if it's one, everybody comes in this world with something. But again, not everybody take the time or spend the time to find out what it is. So your purpose, it just takes for you to go inward, and just find that thing. Go deep within. Again, pray, ask God. But like I said, for a lot of you, it could be the things that you've gone through, even in your workplace, dealing with certain toxic bosses and all of these things, that people are having the same complaints and problems. This is how we have experts in different fields, because they experience certain things, and so they're able to serve and give back from that place. But you enjoy it, you love it, you look forward to doing it. You're not burnt out, you're not exhausted when you do it. So Your purpose is that thing why you're here. It brings you fulfillment as well. Addiction, engaging in habits that harm oneself and others, such as substance abuse. So again, even talking about different things you go through in life. And again, addiction can be anything. Too much of one thing can become an addiction. So these are things, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's sexual abuse, emotional abuse, different things. It can also be a part of your purpose. So everything is about balance and it's about moderation. Okay, so even with your work, you can become an addict. And again, talking about purpose, sometimes when you're in your purpose, you're so engrossed in it that you will spend hours, and just keep going. And if you're not careful, you will just, be taken over by exhaustion. So, and especially too, when you're working for yourself, you just pour yourself into it. And it can become an addiction as well. So it's everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. So that's good. So, these are things also to consider when you have your business, giving back, serving the community, the less fortunate around us, all of that when you're in your life purpose as well. There are times when you will give things to people, because as a way of promotion, or maybe they can't afford it. So, I mean, you have to think about what you're doing and how can you give back to others, serve others as well. And again, just have a steady or a balanced work life, right? So that you don't get burnout, you don't get exhaustion. Because the last card here talks about chronic pain, something that's chronic stress, rather. Chronic stress. Living with persistent and overwhelming stressors. So these are things that you want to avoid when you're working, for yourself, in your purpose, or even for somebody else. It's everything in moderation. Okay, so spirituality. So some of you may be in spirituality or considering that. But again, it says you're being guided to discover your own unique spiritual path right now. So talk about purpose. So all of us, if you want to live a blessed life, an abundant life, a fulfilled life, it would be best for all of us to discover our own unique spiritual path. It's unique as your fingerprint. Again, all of us, I'm talking to adults. I know I have some younger, may have some younger viewers. But again, it's the thing that you love to do. Again, it gets you out of bed in the morning. You stay up late at night doing it because you love it. You love it. And sometimes I believe that we have more than one purpose. So it's like, again, don't confine yourself and don't allow anybody to put you in a box to say, oh, but aren't you supposed to be doing this? Aren't you supposed to be doing that? I mean, especially when you're a divine being, you're very creative, very talented. You can do several things. You're very gifted. So again, just flourish in whatever area or areas that you're called to at this time. Okay, so could be a spiritual advisor, healer, could also be a tarot reader or anything in the occult. And again, I don't understand when you say spirituality, some people go crazy, but again, it's mostly people who are living in the flesh, because like I've said many times before, God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And so spirituality is not a cringe word, a word that should make people cringe. But again, when people don't want to understand something, or they don't want to stretch themselves to go over into that area, or to, when I say stretch themselves, is like getting to know God personally, having a relationship with God. Because if he's a spirit, the only way you can really be in tune with him is also to be in the spirit as well. So absolutely own your craft, do your thing, as long as you know that God is in it. This is not about you. Then, it's like you have nothing to fear, no one to fear. You fear God, not man. And that's the thing. A lot of people, they would like to do something, but they're afraid of what people will say. I'm not afraid of what people will say. I'm afraid of what God will say. And because I'm only afraid of God, then I don't really care about people and their opinion either. Okay, so it's important to have that conviction about you. And especially, like I said, when you know you are on the right, and you're doing things pure. No, you're not having one foot here, one foot out there, dibbling and dabbling in witchcraft and all of that. Yeah, it's like you will get justice. God will fight for you. He'll come and he'll deliver you. Make sure to be honest and ethical in money matters, in whatever you're doing. Just make sure that you're ethical in there. Your fear. So just bringing everything into alignment. It's like God will show up for you. When you take care of God's business, God takes care of you. He'll take care of you. For some of you, it says here mechanic. So it's a woman who is working, doing a mechanic. You can easily fix your finance with little friction. Mend what needs mending. It might be broken, but all is not lost. So, even with addiction, take a break, take a vacation, something, and get back to it. All is not lost, or it's gonna still be there when you come back. That's what I'm kind of getting from that too. Putting the pieces back together. So it's like when you do for God, spirituality, God will give you justice. He'll reward you. He fights for you. It's like you have God on your side. He will put the pieces together. Yeah, peacemaker. So a lot of you are peacemakers. You add diplomacy and tact when you're dealing with difficult situations. So yeah, we're called to be peacemakers. I split the deck in half. It says surprise. Expect the universe to pleasantly surprise you. Everything will be revealed to you in time. Let the plan unfold. So yeah, God has a way of showing up and showing out. And of course, we don't know when it's happening, but some of you could be praying about something and God is going to show up in a huge way in your life. That's good for you. Partnership. So some of you probably are partnering with other people as well, because you don't have to do it alone. Make use of available resources, asking for help when needed. Again, you may be going into business with a partner as well. Under spirituality, again, pray without ceasing. Search God, ask God. Lay out the plans before Him to see if this is what He wants for you. And it is so important that, whether as above, so below, whether it's in a relationship, even our friends, platonic connections, your bestie, your guy, whatever, your boy, whatever, or romantic Partnering, aligning ourselves with the right person or people is very important, because they can make you or they can break you, because you're joined at the hip. It's like when the Bible talks about being unequally yoked, it's not only in religion alone. You can be unequally yoked in any connection, because wherever you have one person doing too much and another person taking or doing too little, then there is going to be problems. So you may have one person who has a stronger work ethic, and sometimes people who are lazy, sadly, they love to connect themselves with people who are hardworking. And after a while, you can have burnt out. You can be, have it can become a stress, a problem. And then you're realizing you already join up this 50-50 thing with somebody whose work ethics is terrible. And then if you should, dissolve that relationship, the cut that they're walking away with would, and they didn't do anything to to accomplish that. So it's like you end up losing. And some of us have been there. You learn from your mistakes. And if you're considering something like that, it's important. You don't just need good people, you need God people. You need God men, God women. People who have been tested, tried, and true. They're proven. They have a track record. They don't just have a gift of gab. What have you done? What have you built? For what length of time? Because like I said before, some people, they'll know. I mean, I remember when I was working in the hospital, I think I shared with you on one video, same money thing, where I got these caught you shining, these little, things from work that I would receive, and it would allow me to get like a free snack or something from the cafeteria. And there was this young lady who she would work on my team sometimes, and she always give me one of those. And one night I asked her, I said, why do you always give me one? She said, oh, because I love working with you. I said, why? Because when I work with you, I don't have much to do. But thank God I didn't mind doing it, because I love cleaning up, and doing what I have to do. So I didn't mind. But, I'm just saying that to say that sometimes people will join up, and especially if it's something where there's a lot of work and money invested, you have to be very conscientious of who you're aligning with. Justice, new money, new money. It says something new you have been working on will be productive. You should consider creating a new source of income. And if you have a money making idea, do it. Go after it. So for some of you, it's going within. Even with the purpose, it's going within, doing some soul searching, writing down what are things that you're good at, your experiences as well. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. And just taking note of those things, and that's another way of generating additional income, bringing in new money as well. Somewhere down there you have some other gifts, talents, or abilities. Even what you're doing at your workplace. For example, if you're like a mechanic, you may be working for, say, a car dealership, a car dealer. You're doing mechanic there for them. On the side, you can be doing your oil change and different little things for people. And then who knows, by you being diligent, by you being faithful and honest with what you're doing with the justice card, being faithful, not robbing people. Because again, it's like if you don't have integrity, then guess what? When you do that, you charge one person $50, then you look at somebody and say, oh, they look like they have money, let me charge that one 100. That one you overcharge, they're not gonna come back, and they're gonna tell other people. So again, be fair in your dealings. But if you are fair in your dealings, then God sees it and He will reward you. Next thing you know, you have your own shop, you're hiring people. So there are so many different things that you are doing right now that you can actually do it on the side on your own time to bring in that extra money. I know on another video before we spoke a lot about real estate, building a solid foundation. Consider career in real estate, interior design, architecture, or any home business. It's time to go back to basics, also to strengthen finances. It's like mend what is broken. There are things in our life, business wise, finances, that may need to be revisited, pay attention to, and again, you may consider a career in real estate as well. So again, the possibilities are endless. And I know people, they have their house, they have a spare bedroom, they turn it into an Airbnb. It's like, or a rental unit, something. But I mean, the opportunities nowadays, it's really out there to do a lot of different things as well. So those are things that you can consider. Easy does it, slow and steady wins the race. So careful not to get involved with any get rich quick schemes. Again, be honest, be ethical in your money matters. And this is what a lot of people, they want to get rich overnight. And then everything will end up blowing back up. We have the police there. It won't work. It won't work. And recognition. So maybe at work, you may be recognized or will be getting recognition for something. And, it says you could earn a leadership position or get the recognition you deserve. So some of you could be leaders as well in your workplace, and you will be recognized. Because I know for a lot of us, and it's not bragging, but I believe for a lot of us who are healed and evolved, whatever you're doing, you're passionate about it, you take pride in it, you don't cut corners, you're not a slacker either. You're determined and you're driven, and you should keep going. And again, this is not about if people are watching you. Always remember, God is watching you. That's who you should take into consideration. At the end of the day, can you honestly say to yourself that I laid it all on the line? Those are the things that you should keep in mind and think about, and not what people say. I mean, it's good to get recognized by your peers and all, but sometimes people are fickle. One minute they praise you, next minute they get jealous, they tear you down. So this is why it's important to be consistent within yourself. Be consistent. It's like what goes for one goes for all. You're not being partial when it comes to, like, if you're doing something where you're having to serve people, everybody across the line, they should get the same care, the same treatment. Again, when I was there working in the hospital, I remember on one unit where I was, there was a lot of celebrities, a lot of like sports persons, and or whomever is in town and they get sick, they would save that unit for, like, they would call it VIP suite. And sometimes Some of my coworkers, depending on who was in the room, they would get very scared, very nervous, and they would ask me to switch assignment with them because they were so nervous. But for me, it's like everybody's a VIP. I don't care, because before I start working there, the unit where I was, it's almost as if most of the 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 persons there, they were like homeless, or they were there waiting on somewhere to go, and I treated them like VIP because they are. And so when I went to that other area, everybody's VIP. I enter the room the same way, I greet everybody the same way. Everybody is important because we're all men and women, children of God. And that's the way that we should, focus and live our life. And then that way it's hard to slip up. But when you're inconsistent, yeah, it's like at some point your flaws, it will show. It will show. It will come to light at some point. So whatever you're doing, dignity, be ethical, be fair about it. Be aware of distractions or drama starters. And again, in your spirituality, in your life, in your partnership, whatever your goals are, be aware of people who just want to distract you, or want to start drama because they don't understand what you do. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody. As long as God knows what you're doing, again, it's coming from a pure place. This is about God. This is not even about you. You're in your calling. You're in your purpose. It's not for people to understand. It's not for us to get the approval from people when God already gave us that seal, that stamp of approval. So you just need to trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. Okay? Because when you do that, again, you have God in the back there. You're protected. When I see the police there as well. So for a lot of you, again, you're called to be independent in the sense of working for yourself, doing something for yourself. Little is much when God is in it. And like I said, you start out small and you're patient. You're appreciative. You thank God for everything that you have. And especially those of you younger ones, this is a good time to think about the things that you love to do, you want to do, and start on those areas very early. Because when you are willing to make the sacrifices today that nobody else wants to, then you can live tomorrow like nobody else can. Because you strike the iron while it's hot. You get on it and you keep going. And you save what you have. You save, you invest, whatever it is. You don't make a fool of what you have, so that later on down the road you have a lot of regrets. So you're called to be generous, but you're not called to be wasteful. God does not like when you're wasteful either. Yeah, you may have people who are watching your pocket or who will watch your pocket. But again, this is why there was a card that I read that all of us, should focus on our own unique gifts, right? But you have people who rather to focus on your gift while you're minding your business. They're watching you to see what you're doing. And you could even have business partners who are watching your pocket as well. I mean, it's like they just want a slice of you. Like I said, like a moth to a flame, we attract the light and the dark. And people who sometimes, like I said, they don't have a good work ethic, they're not creative, they're not passionate about anything. They're looking for somebody to latch on to who can carry them, like across the room or the world, whatever. So be mindful of that. Risk taker, roll the dice. Again, new money. Take a risk. It's like, stop playing it so safe. It's like, what do you have to lose? It's like you have a gift. Let somebody know what you do, especially if you're in that arena where, a lot of people, they can pass the word around. Take a chance on yourself. Start that channel. There's so many things, different areas for different things. Whether it's baking, art and craft, how to paint a rock, it's like everybody have their tribe out there. You'll be surprised. So take a risk. At least at the end of the day, at the end of your life, you can say, I tried, I did that. Because sometimes too, we may venture out into something and it doesn't work, but then you learn you get the experience from that, right? And be open to criticism or feedback, again, as a part of building your foundation. You take especially constructive criticism so that you can do better at what you do, at mastering your craft. Until next time, take care.